You bring a new cloth, you see that you are putting on something very new, or you bring a rose flower and you smell how good the smell is. Please, you also smell it. And then we both together say, it is beautiful. It is outside. It is outside. It is out. But when you meditate, it is the inner fragrance. That inner fragrance, only you know it. Only you know it. No other person can know that. You cannot bring the real self out. Come on, have a fragrance of it. That is the first thing. Second thing, that we do not, we means yoga tradition, do not reject or disprove what we experience through the sense organ, direct sense organ. We don't say why. Why we don't disapprove? It is a fact. I see you, you see me. Through the smell, through the nose, I hear the, I smell the fragrance. That is what we say. The valid means of knowledge to know the world outside. But this is not the valid means to know my real self. How can you say? See the conflict between the two. The nose can only know the smell, eyes can only see. Their domains are different. You cannot say, looking at the eyes, oh, what a good smell. Eyes cannot have a smell. Ears cannot have the sight. They are independent. So when these two are independent, so yoga, valid means of yoga is totally different than the valid means by these sense organs. And it is an inner journey. So when it is an inner journey, the best thing to be in the state of bliss by yourself. Sometimes we feel we are attracted. Oh, come on, I found something very good in meditation. Come on, let us do. I invite my friends. No, no, don't do that. First, find yourself. First, first thing is to discover inner peace and happiness. So once you discover that inner peace and happiness, right? Now, if someone comes to you and says, I am divorcing my honey because he or she has created a lot of problem. See that? Now you have learnt meditation. You have a different ways of knowledge. So there, because you have found it, you know it, you have started living into that state, then yes, then you express yourself. There is another way to understand this relationship. So there you introduce the knowledge. You see, happiness is not outside. See that? Now there it will make a sense. But wait, don't force anyone. Do not force anyone. The moment you say happiness is inside, I know it, other will say, so I know it, then why you are divorcing? But again, you cannot say that. You have yet to become a teacher. So you can say, I have found the inner happiness. I found that happiness is independent of anything outside. And because I am seeking happiness outside, that is the cause of the problem. So my first understanding is that, have I stopped seeking happiness outside? Now people misunderstand this also. What do you mean? Should I stop earning money? Should I stop living in a family? I'm not saying that. Are you ready to listen? Are you ready to understand? So if people do not want to understand, it is better to leave them. Let them continue to suffer, live in miseries. You cannot implant or install a knowledge until one is ready. Until one is ready. Do you see that? See that point. Until one is ready. That is why we say, if you want to embark on this journey, you have to become a seeker. If you are not a seeker, you may listen to thousands of beard guys, nothing is going to happen. Because my mind is not interested. Since the day I met Anne, now see the other quality of becoming a seeker. Never forget who has supported you in the material world or otherwise. You all are good people. I'm not saying not good. But the way Anne supported me when I came to US, I cannot forget. So you have to thank Anne of attending all these sessions. I have no criteria. I have not set any criteria that I will seek this much of fees. Be very clear about it. There was another, women are always beautiful. That beautiful woman hired me for personal counseling for a year. Used to go to her house. So when she wanted to join, I said, you have to pay the same amount because you can afford to pay. No, I will help you in future. I said, forget about it. Don't try to be a businessman. So you have to think every time and often. Just I spoke about it. So now coming, last time we studied, we understood the understanding of what is pure consciousness, that is our real self. And the knowledge of the real self, you have to apply a valid means that yoga asks for it. You cannot see that real self by the sense organs. Are you clear? One has to be 100% clear. That is why there has to be something a new way of knowledge. That is what we are learning. That is what we are learning. See that? So, last time we understood what we understood, Klesh Karma. That consciousness, that real self is free from all the actions. That real self is not the doer and the enjoyer, nor the fruits of an action. And it is totally absent, complete absence of suffering. That is what we covered, yes. And the second part we covered, Tatra Nirtishayam Sarvagnya Bijam. It is the source of all the knowledge. It is the source of all the knowledge. That is what the real self is. So let me focus on this. What our master says, pay attention to this. We want to attain, we want to discover, we want to find what is already there in me. I'm searching for a job outside. It is not yet attained. It is not already present in me. See that? I want to earn money. It is not with me. So it has to come from outside. Did you understand that point? Because it is already within me. How to reach to what is already within me? So I cannot apply the same method that I have been using in the world outside. It has to be a different method. Now see what our master says. From where I learnt this knowledge? From my master. Then my master, his master. Who is the ultimate master? The ultimate master is the real self present in all of us. It is within you. It is within me. It is here and now. What? And I can't see. Tell me if you can see it. Because you cannot see, we need a method of knowledge by which we know the self. So, followed by the principles and the meditation practice. The way you cannot teach biology in the name of physics. Similarly, to discover our real nature, we have to follow the way this knowledge has been passed on by the tradition. Anytime I speak of anything which raises the doubt, tell me. That is the beauty of yoga. Keep smiling, so there is no. So what we say, now say, where we have arrived, we want to achieve what is already within us. What is within us? The real self. And what is the nature of the real self? Pure awareness, truth, permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. I have yet to achieve. But now I have understood the destination. What is the destination? I have to go within myself. I answered another way. Sophie, your question. The question you asked in the beginning. No need to worry if they do not know. I'm answering. That is also the topic. You see that? So it means that real self is the source of that knowledge of the reality. So what I have to do? Allow the mind to touch that reality. And that is why we have to move the mind within. move the mind within. I think in the morning, I had a wonderful uh, encounter. That was a group session here. The person is extremely intelligent. You cannot figure out where the gender, so that's why I'm using person. I have all the examples every day in life, in my family, in my every day whenever I talk. You see that that's how you can have a glimpse that how we live, think, and work in this world. Live into that state of permanent happiness. So that person is extremely intelligent, and every time I talk about it, person says, I have understood. It has been for the last 1 year. Every week, person is committed. Now, today, after the meditation, I always ask to share your experiences. Turn of that person came. The person says, I have lot of problem. I have lot of problem. My nostrils are blocked. I could not do it. I was feeling discomfort. That was his experience. That was person's experience of the meditation. There were 20 people. Did I guide that person differently than other 19 people? See, so what blocked the knowledge? What blocked that person not to have that experience? Can you figure out? And then you will know how long you have to treat this path. That will make a sense. So when I say I am real self, means this I is the real self, and that is permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. Right? Now I say I am suffering from lot of problems. Where is the problem? Where is the problem? I am identifying myself with the body. See that? I identify with the body. I am the body. Then you build your big ego. And that ego says, come on, you are suffering. I could not do it. I have no problem. Why should I take my ego that why am guiding you? Why didn't you experience? That is your problem. That is your. So, what is that problem? Our master says that problem is problem of ignorance. That I understand real self is my nature, but I have lot of pain. I have been suffering a lot. Why? Because there is a strong identification that I is sitting in the body. It doesn't want to leave drop the identification. So for the sake of goody talking, yes, real self, that is what meditation helps. But when it comes to challenges in my life, then I say I have lot of problem. I didn't say anything. Now, what is the solution? So again, we have to understand the solution. So in another text, the master says, Satasangatve nisasangatvam, nisasangatve nirmohatvam. Satasang means company. Company of what? Company of those teachers who know this, who is well versed with this knowledge. Satasang, you have to listen to those crazy people again and again and again and again until the mind finds, yes, I got it. So that is the first step. So what happens by listening again and again and again? One day, mind says, oh, I have been deluded by my ego. Let me drop the ego, and you are in peace and happiness. So what happens? Satsangatve nisasangatvam. First line, nisangatve nirmohatvam. So what happens by listening again and again and again and again? Mind has been listening that I am the body, that I have problem, that I am suffering, that my honey causes the problem to me, because the money causes the problem to me. Now, by listening again and again these principles in different ways, what happens? Now the mind says, I can see there is a center within me that is not at all affected. You find a kind of de-identification, unattachment, detachment, dispassion. We are totally detached with the neighbor's house. Let it happen, whatever happens. But when it comes to the body, then we say, no, it is me. So that kind of detachment has to be there. So that comes by listening again and again. So first step, satasangatve nisasangatvam, detachment. So by listening again and again, your mind becomes pure, and the mind sows the seed of detachment. So what happens by detachment? So once the detachment is there, you get rid of the delusion. What is delusion? What appears true is not true. So what happens when the delusion is removed? You get the right knowledge. Tell me, we know by science that the sky is not blue, and still I know 100% that it is not. Still, whenever I see the sky, it appears blue, but I know it is not. You see that? I know it is not. We know it is not. We see the water in the mirage, and the moment I have collected information that there is a sand, there is a desert all around, and I could see the desert at a longer, at a much higher and longer, far distance, it is all desert, but still I see the water. So water in a mirage appears, but it is not true. But the knowledge inside tells me that there is no water. It is a delusion. The knowledge inside you tells you that the sky is not blue. Are you getting it? On science. Same way, the valid means of knowledge in yoga will tell you one day that you are real self, not the body, not the breath, not the mind, not the intellect. Am I making the thing simple? See that. Compare. I see the sky is blue, but I know it is 100% it is not. It is because of the reflection. I see the same body again. Now I see, come on, body, I am not the body, I am the real self. John, are getting it? Simple. Same logic that the science uses. Science uses inference. The entire 90% of the physics is based on that logic, multiple logic. What we say theoretical physics, metaphysics. And ultimately we arrive at a conclusion and we understand here is the truth. So then what happens? So nirmohatvam, right knowledge, and that right knowledge awakens in the practice of meditation that reveals the real self. And once the real self is revealed to you, it is irreversible process. It cannot be reversed. That is the beauty. So now find out what is The ultimate destination of meditation, when I should reach to a irreversible state of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. It cannot be reversed. It can only come to you if you have such a long beard. But only I and John have a luxury to have beard. You don't have a luxury. So, so is there no chance? No, we all are human beings. You see that is beautiful. Verse, satasangatve nesasangatvam. And that is when I say I lived with my teacher for 26 years, it is because of this. And I have that experience. What the crazy guy is speaking, real self, what? Huh? My mind used to think about it, about my master. But gradually, when the changes takes place in the mind, then everything changes around you. How long you have been craving for that permanent peace and happiness? You have been running, still running, and running, and running. Days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years. Where is permanent happiness in your life? Ask yourself, so that it should stimulate your intellect and you start thinking of it. We hardly think, no, I'm very busy to think of my own life. What a great people we are. Now, I don't have time. Okay, you don't have time. Why you are running? Money. What you do with the money? To buy a thing. Why you want to buy a thing? To secure happiness. Why don't you start the journey directly? Such a long path. I will be happy once I marry. I will be happy when I divorce. That is what I say, days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years. We are changing people. We are changing the things.
Try saying the month or year.
We are changing the things. I had a wonderful, beautiful, very small kid. She is 13. And her father here in one of the other state. So she is attending virtual lessons. So her father heard me somewhere, and he said to me that I want to see that she should get that knowledge. So she booked me for a private lesson for almost 20 sessions. So I normally give 2 hours of lesson to her. So today we were talking about that, and she beautifully, wisely said, after it has been after 10 hours. So you see that how the knowledge is revealed when you are committed to yourself, not to me, not to a weekly lesson. What the weekly lesson will do? Nothing. Okay, I will stop and coming to the next lesson. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But pay attention to what the knowledge is there. Contemplate and reflect on this. Contemplate and reflect on this. No, I got upset because my dad did not buy a cloth. But then now I realize that I already have 20 pairs of clothes. Yes, I have 20 pairs. And you told me that happiness is not containing in the clothes. So it means happiness is within me. I experience that happiness within me, and my anger and reaction calmed down. I was so happy. 13-year-old. Knowledge, does not know the barrier. It has no barrier of the age, gender, color, anything, religion, provided I am ready for it or not. 1 hour, listen to this guy, what he says, then forget the rest because I have been running in my life days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, and years after years. I am living totally unsatisfied. I will die unsatisfied. That is why I am running, 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 running. Ask yourself, think of it. Exercise tracker isn't on. You all are wiser than that 13-year-old girl. Think of it. Think in your mind. Don't paralyze your intellect. That is last point the master is saying, and I always love it. Oh, there is a heaven. Can I prove it by valid means of knowledge? No. Drop it. Any teacher belonging to my tradition guides you something, a mysticism. Don't worry. You use these mantras and your honey will be controlled. Control yourself first. Control yourself. Change yourself first. First, change yourself. Never be misguided by those invalid means of knowledge. I have to change myself. That is the journey of self-discovery, and that is the journey of meditation. I made you so serious. Don't be so serious. Continue days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after. You have all the you have all the freedom. Should I stop doing this? I should not stop doing this. Yoga teaches you how to do it in peace and happiness. It doesn't say stop it. It says days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years, you have been searching for happiness and still it is deluding you. That is why this knowledge is there. So meditation doesn't mean that you practice for an hour and you rest time. I forget. Michelle is smiling. No, it has nothing to be. This is what the journey of life, the goal of life, to discover that permanent peace and happiness. Leave it. I made you so serious. Let us start our practice of meditation.